carry. So we'll have to see.
Well, and remember though, Salad Supreme, they did lose, so you get the option once again, and they will be once again first ban, first pick. First game, they first picked Darius, which, I mean, it worked okay for a time, but they still have the first pick option. They could just go ahead and grab Kog'Maw or Soraka or Morgana just first right out of their nose. I think Soraka might be the better option there.
They like the Janna pick, but I think they really need to pick up Soraka. And last game, I thought they needed to pick up Soraka, and you can't allow M5 to have Soraka, in my opinion. It's when they like running the team comps that they do, that are just so tanky and so strong late game, you can't give them the best tanky support for late game. I mean, Soraka's not tanky, but making your team tanky with the armor buff and with the heals. So M5 basically going to be the same bans. I don't know that any of those champions were really a danger for M5, unless they're concerned that about how Salad Supreme is going to change up their comp. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll probably see the same stuff from them, but then we'll see whether or not Salad Supreme switches it up. But banning out the Anivia, we're probably going to need to see it. They'll hold off on the Urgot, force M5 to ban the Urgot once again, and we'll see who they're going to ban here. The issue is if M5 doesn't ban Soraka, then Salad Supreme can't pick Soraka and Urgot.
Right.
So I don't know, we'll have to see what M5 leaves open.
So it's Morgana's still open for a time being. Soraka's still open. Kog'Maw's still open. Go ahead and ban out the Morgana.
Yeah, Morgana was definitely a smart ban.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want someone with such a dominant carry in the mid, someone nigh ungankable in the mid. If someone's getting ridiculous, you need to be able to actually get in there, get your CC down, and take them out of the fight.
And I really hope we see the Soraka pick here, but we'll see. Janna is very strong, for the movement speed passive. She's a strong overall champion. Actually picking up the Ryze.
Ryze escaped it.
That's the thing. They didn't ban Ryze last game, so they wanted to get it this game so that M5 can take it.
Salad Supreme banned him out first game, but this time, now take out the Morgana. Salad Supreme. Anyway, so Shen though still going to be taken by M5. Worked out amazingly well for him game one, and also and they actually used his ult quite offensively as well. But there's the Soraka.
They have Shen and Soraka again.
Same first two picks from M5 game one. They may as well actually just go with the similar comp. You got Shen, Soraka. I would hope Salad Supreme takes Kog'Maw here, because if not, I would not be surprised if M5 just grabs them again. I just would not be surprised at all.
It's really difficult because M5, they actually still have a lot of options available to them with this comp, with Shen and Soraka. If Salad Supreme takes Kog'Maw now, it's actually going to force them into a comp. It's going to force them into that tanky comp. Kog'Maw and Ryze do work very well with each other. They do, they are both such strong late game carries. But we'll have to see. Going with the Darius once again, so want to be able to control that top lane. Ryze does have a lot of strong upfront damage, so with Darius coming in, they could try and burst people down, but the issue is it's against the Shen and the Soraka, and Lulu, that's, definitely a nice pick. We'll be going for the support, so they want to hold off on their mid and their carry for a little bit longer, see what M5 is going to do.
I've heard rumblings of people actually going Lulu top. So
people go Lulu top all the time?
Yeah, but it's like Lulu top, Darius jungle.
There's no rumbling. We saw it at IPL4 with Dignitas.
Right. Yes, that's right. That's right. We did. But
the rumblings of
there's been a lot of discussion, that we've had with the pros recently about Lulu top, and
she's really strong.
Yeah.
That's basically the beginning and end of the discussion is how strong she is. I'm just kidding, but I don't know. The thing is whether or not their jungler is comfortable with Darius, and Darius could go in the jungle, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be top because of how much Very Nice liked it in the last game, and so it's tough to say. He could be in the jungle, but it's kind of weird. I think that they've already picked their mid and top lane, which usually you don't want to pick in the first two picks.
Just still considering who's going to go mid, who's going to go bot here for M5, and yep, there it is. They're just going to go ahead. Still waiting. Okay, you know what? I kind of like this because Ashe with the massive amounts of initiation. Shen can just go ahead and ult offensively into these fights, and Ziggs will be there just for absolute sheer damage. Plus, when Ryze goes into mid, he's naturally a tanky guy, but he needs someone to try and chunk him out as quickly as possible. And Ziggs also has the range with the bouncing bomb to go ahead and just get a pretty sufficient harass onto the Ryze.
Yeah, Ziggs does have a little bit of an advantage in that lane. Rise should be pretty safe, but if we see Ziggs actually pushing him into the tower, there's a lot of potential there. The nice thing is that Ziggs, you have so much, presence in fights and so much zoning capability. So if Darius, you want to kite Darius, you want to, be able to kite him, the volley from Ashe along with the zoning from Ziggs, very quickly, Darius isn't going to be able to chase anyone. He's just going to be there. And actually, so seeing a really interesting comp. I think they're kind of trying to decide what they're doing right now. I don't know if they maybe send Darius in the jungle like we said. No, it'll probably be a Jarvan in the jungle. So there we have it, Vayne and Jarvan for the last 2 picks. They have a really strong late game team with the Vayne and with the Rise, but it's all single target damage basically. Like that is their entire team is single target damage. So if M5 can protect themselves and then have the Shen ult and have the Soraka heal, very quickly they can negate a lot of single target damage, which is going to make things difficult for Salad Supreme.
So now it's just a matter of, is Shen going in top and or is Shen going into jungle's got to go ahead and wait for the last pick in M5. And I mean the Vayne pick just actually just if M5 went for the Kog'Maw, Vayne pick would just not even really be a consideration. It's just Kog'Maw would just destroy her, like just rain you. Once it hit 6, it would have been over.
Yeah, no, that's that is definitely the case. Kog'Maw has such long range. You can kind of zone out Vayne. We'll have to see. Oh, I was kind of hoping for the Teemo pick. Teemo actually does very well against Darius. It's not even in actually. It's like it's an obvious thing because Darius is vulnerable to so much harass, and then Teemo just blinding dart and also the passive to the face. The issue is that Teemo's attack range is short enough that you're very close to the pull range of Darius, and so if Darius times his pull when you're attacking and actually runs towards you a little bit, you can get the pull in and very quickly pick up kills onto Teemo. So that makes it kind of difficult. But we're going to see the Malphite again. Malphite fell behind kind of early. Was really defensive in lane. However, Darian was able to farm the entire game, and then late game, able to shut down all of their damage. And guess what? That's going to happen again. Vayne, Jarvan, and Darius, all of their damage is going to be, to some degree negated by Malphite. Jarvan, not so much, since his damage, a lot of it comes from his abilities. But Darius and Vayne in particular, the shutdown potential from Malphite is just so high. It's going to be really difficult for them to get their damage in fights. And now we have the initiation potential for M5. They get that advantage. They have the Ashe. We're going to have the zoning with the Ziggs. Ziggs can easily outfarm Rise and try and push him into the tower, see if they can get advantages there. It's just, I don't know, it'll be interesting, but it's a really strong team comp for both teams.
Yeah, and even then there's a nice escape button with the wild growth on the Lulu. Jarvan's going to be in the middle of these fights. Rise is going to be pretty close up there, and those are 2 guys who are naturally pretty tanky. So it's just you get the wild growth, you get the extra health, you get the slow. Could be a nice means of counter initiation if M5, if they get the arrow, if they get the taunt, if they get on in, hey, wild growth, nice emergency button, you're slowed, good luck getting out of here.
Wild growth from
Lulu.
Oh, I thought you were saying Oh, okay. I thought you were saying M5 using it to slow Lulu.
No. Lulu using the ult in Jarvan in the middle of the fights.
My bad. I'm just like all dazed and confused for so long. It's not true. But I don't know. We will see. How Salad Supreme can work this. A lot of it's going to come down to the farm in the bottom lane. And Ashe versus Vayne, Ashe actually has a really strong advantage against Vayne early on. And through most of the laning phase, Ashe is just so much stronger than Vayne because you have the volley. Vayne is, pretty short attack range. It's actually 550, but, even so, Ashe has that advantage. So you can just sit there. Every time Vayne tries to come in and attack, you just volley, walk away, and then constantly harass attack. And with the Soraka, they have that advantage too. But once it goes on, if Vayne can keep up farm, she's easily going to be able to 1v1 Ashe as the game progresses outside of the laning phase. And, maybe if we can get an early advantage, Vayne can actually abuse Ashe a little bit, try and deny some of that farm from Genja. And a lot of it is really going to come down to how quickly can Vayne farm and, if she can get to that super late game status. Because we have, with both Vayne and Rise, a really nice late game combo there. The concern is, how much AoE M5 has and how much initiation. They have all of the initiation on their side.
And also not a whole lot of range on Salad Supreme either. So, it's not outside the realm of possibility for a Malphite ult to actually hit everyone, for Ziggs ult to hit everyone, for a taunt to hit the majority of the team.
Yeah.
So it's You could see a little bit of a crash course in proper spacing from Solid Supreme. Just like everyone scatter, wait for Malphite to blow the ult. We'll mainly get and just after that, just everyone converges, everyone engages.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how team fight works out. And Jarvan into jungle, still he's a pretty good guy. Is he faster than Shen? I think he just like a little
Jarvan. Yeah, he is faster than Shen. Jarvan, a lot of it depends on how Jarvan's going to build. And so we saw last game Diamond Prox getting the Wriggles. So he went the Heart of Gold into the Wriggles for Shen. It actually sped up his jungle a lot, and it was a really nice build. Jarvan, you can go with the Wriggles. Diamond Prox didn't get the Wriggles. He went with the Madred, sorry.
Yeah.
Jarvan, you can go with the Madreds or the Wriggles, but the issue is then you're not as tanky as you would like to be through the mid-game fights. So a lot of times you'll go with Jarvan with a really tanky early build with like Philosopher's Stone and with Heart of Gold. So we'll have to see. And, he does scale very well with some early physical damage. He's actually a really strong jungler, but a lot of people shy away from Jarvan because of the issue that if you don't hit your EQ combo, you lose out on so much ganking potential. And he's a really aggressive jungler. You can gank as early as level 2. But a lot of people see Jarvan as like a weaker counterpart to Maokai. Just because Maokai, you're always going to hit your combo. You're always going to get in there with the Twisted Advance. Whereas Jarvan, it's a little finicky. But usually you can hit it. It's going to be a really strong gank. So we'll see if we can get any ganks off. I just think Ziggs has enough range. He should be safe. If we get the snare from Ryze, then yes, that's going to set up the Jarvan gank. But otherwise, Ziggs is going to be pretty safe. Malphite, he's probably going to play defensively early, like last game. We'll see if we get another gank off. But I would assume he's going to, be ready for it this game. Bot's probably the best ganking option for them. And Lulu has great follow-up for gankers. She's kind of weird. She's a mix between like a Soraka support or a Janna support and an aggressive kill lane. She has the disables, the slow to try and get you into that kill composition. So it's primarily going to be a bot lane focus for Jarvan, but the issue is how much countering potential Shen has in those gank attempts.
It looks like Solid Supreme is going to be a little bit more aggressive for the level 1 this time around than they were game 1. Game 1, they were just spread out, wanted to make sure they weren't.
If they run right into it,
they go right in. You got to be able to beat Malphite into the Tribush, but they're just going to go ahead and wait. But they are still behind that corner, so there's a nice little blind spot going on. So Malphite will know until the last possible moment that he knows Ryze is out in front. There we go. Now we got the vision. They know Malphite's here. They know he's in a little bit of trouble, but he will actually back off just in time. But now M5 knows. They know Solid Supreme is somewhere around this area, but just going to go ahead, place a ward, back out, and put a little bit of fear into him.
And so if they almost had Malphite beat, if they went right up into that bush, they weren't all grouped, so you really need to try and get out of the base as fast as possible. But usually Malphite will win that race, and so they will be safe. They drop the ward up there once again, just like last game. And Jarvan actually starting off with the cloth armor. So, the cloth armor, it keeps him a little bit safer. It allows him to jungle a little bit longer. He won't, take as much damage. Hey, because it's a cloth armor. But the issue is that without the movement speed boots, it reduces some of his early ganking potential. So we'll see if that cloth armor turns into a Wriggles, if that means that he's going a Wriggles build. It probably does, but he could turn it into like a Ninja Tabby or something. But I don't know, we'll have to see. Once again, Genja and Gosu Pepper taking the Wolves down here. So, going to keep up even in that early golden experience against the Golems on blue side.
That's not too uncommon for the purple side to actually start doing these days. You just go ahead, grab the Wolves, get back in the lane, because it's a little bit of a... blue side might as well go ahead and take the Golems. I think Wolves might actually just be the safer option, too. Because, those Golems do hurt, and they did actually buff the movement speed on them, too.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves are a little bit safer. You get a little bit more golden experience from the Golems, but not a whole lot. And the big thing is when you know that the jungler is going to start over at red, then he can go over to blue, and then the Wolves will be ready right after that blue. And so we see Shen. He's not going to be, falling behind at all because the Wolves are taken. So it's a nice little benefit. And really quickly, very nice, able to get some great harass. And again, Darius does have an early advantage against Malphite, but once Malphite gets a couple of levels, he should be able to sit in lane with him pretty easily. The concern is if we see any early ganks. And right now, Jarvan, he's just cleared his jungle. He will be recalling and then, probably going top right after it.
Double buff picked up from Diamond Prox. There he is, level 3. Jarvan should be level 3 in just a moment right after he goes ahead and takes out that little lizard. So now both junglers are going to have their double buffs. Now to go ahead and decide where they're going to wander out. But Jarvan actually just going to go ahead and sit back and farm a little bit. Shen's in the same way too. Those Wolves have now respawned. And for now everyone's just farming up. Nothing nothing too crazy going on just to start. Everyone's just really content with farming. I just want to stick behind and see what happens from here. Wait till the junglers actually start getting a little bit more involved with the game.
And Jarvan is actually coming into this bottom lane, so going to walk up into the bush, and because of the early pressure from Vayne to push up that lane, he's going to be able to get in there pretty easily. He won't be able to get into the second one, but even so, if Ashe tries to come up and harass Vayne at all, very quickly they're going to see Jarvan to the face. And I think the issue, though, is that Ashe is playing defensively now, so Jarvan is probably just going to end up wasting his time. He's not going to be able to get off a gank, but if he can, there's a lot of kill pressure.
There we go. He's just going to go ahead and move on in, try and get something. Hope that Soraka was close by, but alas, she was not. A little bit of wasted time, but he's just going to go ahead and back in the bush. But Shen, in the meantime, going to be going up to top lane, but there is a ward just expired too, just in time to get all the information necessary.
Yeah, in both games, wanting to get that early ward out so that Darius never falls behind and gives Malphite an advantage, because he can be pretty weak in lane. So really smart play there, but unfortunately the ward is gone, and Shen coming up once again, and Darius, he's playing a little bit defensively, but I don't think he expected Shen to just come right up and camp his lane.
So yeah, Shen, he's staying pretty safe up there in the bushes, waiting for his opportunity, and Ziggs also chunking out Ryze pretty well here. Diamond Prox waiting for his moment. Will Very Nice go in? There he is. There's the Q, and now there's the taunt. Nice flash away from Very Nice.
But even so, the flash is down. We do have Jarvan coming up here, though, so Jarvan could get a nice gank, particularly with the pull, and since Darius has such great sticking power with this slow, so Jarvan actually just going to come right up the lane, not going to go into the jungle, and we'll see if we get the pull. He should be coming up right now. Actually, he's turning away, so Darius just going to handle the lane hit on his own, no gank coming.
Actually, he's going the long way around. He wants to reposition himself to make sure that he can maximize the damage and also get the pop-up. There's Very Nice coming in, and there's the standard, but Darien will also flash away. The Ignite going down. They want this kill. They want to try and grab something. Very Nice is still in pursuit. The hemorrhage, the auto attack, and there you go. The tick from the red buff, First Blood, going to Divo.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising for Darien to be playing so aggressively at that point. He was pushed up to the tower. It was a good opportunity for him to recall, go buy some items, go buy a ward in particular, and then the lane would be pushed back to his tower. By the time he gets back there, he wouldn't really miss any gold or experience, but trying to be a little aggressive.
He's caught out in mid. He's got no mana, has to flash away to evade the Jarvan. Good call. Good call wandering down there. Just Ziggs, most AP mids, once they're out of mana, they're pretty much screwed. So I was just waiting for his opportunity to go ahead and back, and now he's going to go ahead and do that now. Malphite, this time, starting off with the chain vest and cloth armor. Really, really hope that's not a thorn mail. I highly doubt it. Probably actually going to go to a random.
It's just a tabby and a thorn or chain vest.
Yeah, the chain vest probably going to go into. I would say Warden's mail.
No, Glacial Shroud.
Glacial Shroud, that would work too, actually, yeah.
It could be a Warden's Mail, but Warden's Mail, would be a little bit later. You would get the gold pretend first if you were going into Warden's Mail.
Also true.
But we do have Devu coming down bot. He's trying to actually get into there, but he cannot. We have just too much escape from Genshin, but there's actually the slow. Will turn around a little bit, but with the Soraka heals, they're just able to control this lane so effectively, and they are very safe.
Yep, and unfortunately there was also another ward in the bot lane there, put down by M5, which just expired as Jarvan was coming in the lane, so he did get caught out just barely. But look here, if you look at top lane, if you look at Darius, he is 6. He does have the ult available. He does have the dunk. But Darien is just playing it safe, and with all that extra armor, he's going to be sticking around top lane for a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have any health pots, though, so
yeah.
He picked up the armor, but not grabbing a health pot or two. Definitely a little bit of a disadvantage. Darius can just slowly wear him down, but with the armor, he should be pretty safe in this lane. Once he gets, some armor items, that's definitely going to be nice. And he can, just stand up to Darius in that melee. And we didn't see that last game because of the early disadvantage. He instead transitioned into like an AP build early, so he could just range farm with his Qs and range harass Darius. But now we'll start to see, how Malphite kind of works in that melee range. Ziggs just getting some really nice damage against Ryze, and that's really what Ziggs does. He's just so strong in that mid lane, and then has a lot of zoning. Ryze going to be able to grab this blue, but Ziggs going to try and harass him when he comes back, most likely. Actually throws off the ultimate, tries to steal it. He does steal it.
Nice call from Alex. And you know what? If you know someone's taking a buff, if you're playing as Ziggs, you might as well. You might as well do it. Darien actually getting pulled. The ult, the dunk, trying to do something, but the hemorrhage only, well, actually full stacks on that, but he's still pretty weak. Will not be able to help Shen out. He's just going to be there to look pretty, to get the taunt and to keep to keep Darius out of the lane. But man, That steal from Zig, man, was so good. There's
actually but Jarvan is coming up behind him, so we have Ziggs as well. We're going to see that.
There's the pop-up.
Malphite actually almost going down, but
Shen
with the Shen
alive. There he goes, trying to re-engage it back in onto Darius, and Ziggs is there also to get all the damage necessary. Nice turnaround. That was a pretty good bait there. This, Malphite's there's like, Shen ult still up. Here's a big guy made of rocks. I'm pretty weak. You might want to kill me. There's Shen. And there you go. There's 2 kills.
Yep, so they're able to get the kills up in top lane, turn it around. So Malphite a nice little advantage against Darius right now. We'll see how that kind of works out for him. He can, with the armor, be very safe in that lane again. We'll see what he's buying. He's actually not buying anything, or he's mulling over his decision right now, but we'll have to see. Ashe, in the meantime, just really nice control over that bottom lane, just constantly pushing Vayne into the tower. And so we're going to start to see Vayne fall behind on CS a little bit because Ashe, with the Soraka, they are very safe. They can just push him in. And actually going with the Sork shoes once again, that's a little bit surprising, but, with the early null magic onto Darius, he wants to be able to get that damage in. He wants to be able to trade and have burst. So, that will work out, and it will be stronger in team fights later.
And now with this blue buff that Alex Ich so rudely stole from the enemy jungle, he's going to just still continue to push Toya into his own tower, get extra just free harass, and actually he's going to go ahead and we'll double up that blue buff. Let's go ahead and get the friendly one as well. It's there. You might as well grab it, just stack them. Refresh that buff. And Toya, he's backing so frequently. Just cannot stand up to the Ziggs. The creep score is just starting to now spiral 25 ahead, pretty much.
Oh, the Ashe arrow almost picking up Rise there in the mid lane. Ziggs wanted that kill, but just barely missing him. So, we'll see. I mean, Ziggs is just such an aggressive laner. He has so much burst damage. He's actually coming up into the top, and we don't have any wards for Darius. We'll see if he gets out of there, if he's going to be recalling. So Alex is actually not going to go up because of the risk of Darius recalling or something.
Yeah.
So we'll back off, or maybe even being trapped. He doesn't know if the enemy has any wards or not, so he doesn't want to put himself in a poor position.
Devo's a little bit too far out in mid, going to get slowed by the mines. Some free damage just going down. The satchel charge keeping him in place, but then missing the bouncing bomb to follow up.
Yeah,
so, but still, they're pushing him back. That's fine.
I think Jarvan was a little bit surprised by how much damage he was going to take from Alex Ich there. And if Alex Ich had actually hit the bouncing bomb, he probably could have gotten that kill. We do see the pull-in from Darius, just again abusing Darien in this top lane. But now Ziggs is coming up, and it is for real this time.
Yep.
We will see him get that gank on. It's going to be tough, though. Malphite does have the ultimate, though. So actually, they probably have enough burst. We do have this fight going on bottom, but there's the Malphite ultimate into the Mega Inferno Bomb, the quick bouncing blade, and we actually have the heal. So from the Soraka heal, able to protect Darien from that ult from Darius, and very quickly they're able to survive there and pick up the kill.
Yeah, true damage. What? Nah, it's no issue. Soraka's here. She's got everybody covered, and that was just more than enough to protect from the insta-gib, to protect from the Duncan. And now Ziggs, Alex Ich is just so far ahead in the lead now, he can afford to go ahead and roam and grab those kills. Rise has not really been, he hasn't really been leaving mid all too much, if at all. He's losing the creep war, he's losing the kill war. Ziggs straight out buying a needlessly large rod. That's going to be a lot of damage to follow up there. The Mega Inferno Bomb on its own is doing quite a bit, and the Bouncing Bomb, I'll check on that in a second because Vayne is just trying to get some push here in the bot. So how much damage? Level 5. That thing's doing a pretty hefty chunk. Not to mention, remember, Ziggs' passive is kind of like a little a mini Lich Bane in on its own.
Yeah, and so we see Jarvan coming up here. I'm not sure if he was able to steal any of those, creeps or not, but we'll have to see. And actually, Ashe chasing down Vayne. We will have the exhaust, so they are able to get out of there. And then Vayne turning it back around onto Soraka really quickly, not able to get anything going. But Alex Ich really quickly, so dominant in this game so far. We have, Darius also really far behind Malphite. And this is the strength, is now with this Glacial Shroud, Darius, it's going to be so difficult for Darius to deal any damage to Malphite in lane. So Malphite can keep himself high health, and then every single time the ultimate is up, Darius is at the threat of going down. And that's what Malphite does. You sustain against champions. You don't let them burst you down because you get the armor, and you slowly wear them down until you're at the point where killing them. But Jarvan with the quick gank on Alex Ich, we will will see that actually the Jarvan Cataclysm and actually the Shen ult as well. We have the Mega Inferno Bomb and then the taunt onto Toya. Unfortunately, Ziggs does go down, but with the red buff, we're really close to picking up this kill. Ryze does not have his flash, so one more attack will be able to do it, or a Q even, but the snare and then the flash from Shen, so he is able to get it, and now chasing down Jarvan, but won't have enough. But actually, with the taunt, going to get some nice damage. Lulu and Vayne are coming in here, though. They will want to back off. They don't want to get themselves caught, and Darius as well.
If you really want to, could flash over the wall, get a polymorph or something, just set up things for the rest of the team, but Very Nice has now wandered down from top lane and realizing this is not the greatest of ideas. Going to go ahead and back off, but Dragon is he could still be considered though for either team. I mean, it was a quick 1-for-1 trade, but everyone's just gonna go ahead and back off. Everyone's local, everyone's surrounding it, but everyone's just gonna go ahead. Let's back off to lanes, farm up mid just a little bit. Darian is actually still here, trying doing the right thing, following his lane enemy, but there's nothing really here to capitalize on. But actually no, M5 wandering together as a pack. I think they're going to go ahead and start just dragging.
Yeah, and they have the Madreds onto Shen. So again, that Heart of Gold and then Madred's build on Diamond Procs for Shen, it speeds up his jungle clear. It gives them the dragon capabilities that they would normally be lacking. And because Malphite is tanking this for a second, Malphite's going to take almost no damage, but it will allow Shen to keep up full health. And you see Ziggs. Here's one of the benefits of Ziggs. You just completely zone off in the river. We have the flash over from Jarvan, though.
Late. He's got to get out of there real quick. But Ziggs, he was blocking the path off with the mines. And, if keeping M5, if they wanted to go ahead and engage on it, they will be taking damage and they will be slowed. So it's just like, hey, back off. You don't want to be going in on
Malphite is bot, though. He's recalling, but he's actually going to come back into it, so we're going to have the Malphite ultimate and the Ashe arrow very quickly. Vayne could go down. Will tumble out of there, but there it is, the Malphite ultimate, followed by the arrow. We have the ultimate from Lulu, so she's very tanky, but will go down. One more attack. They pick up the kill, and now they have to get out of there, though, because Jarvan is here. But a quick kill, and Malphite can head back up into that top lane.
See, now I'm concerned. Now I'm concerned for Solid Supreme, because the Lulu ult was supposed to be their emergency button. If you're going to die, this is what you need to do, and it was not enough to prevent all of the damage from M5. So now it's a little bit of concern. Not also to mention that Ziggs can also serve a very similar role heading into mid and late game that Kog'Maw provided game 1, that long distance poke, and he's just so ridiculously fed now at this point.
Yeah, and a big issue is Solid Supreme, they wanted the late game. They wanted to just have such a strong late game and, have Vayne, just this unstoppable beast in the back line, and Lulu for the protection. But Ashe is actually 40 CS ahead of Vayne right now. So just completely dominant play by M5 in this bottom lane. They know they have the range advantage. They're just completely denying the farm. Vayne is doing okay for farm. Like, she's behind, but she's not that far behind what you would normally want. But Ashe is free farming, and Ashe is just going to be so much more powerful than Vayne coming in these mid fights, particularly since Vayne's made the investment into 3 Dorans. And a lot of times you'll go for 2 Dorans and then you want to farm quickly into a BF sword. But Vayne is actually not going to finish off any big items like an Infinity Edge until about 25 minutes in. And a 25-minute Infinity Edge means that M5 has all the presence, but actually we have a gank mid, the pinch, and actually Darius, there's the Cataclysm, and the Mega Inferno Bomb with the Shen ult. And so we actually have Jarvan going down, but then Darius is able to pick up the next kill. The pullback on the Shen, and he has the red buff, can chase him down. The taunt will be down for another second. It should be up soon, but there it is. The snare into the another dunk, and Malphite is coming down. He does have plenty of damage to take down Darius if he gets in on this.
But I would not really think about it, but there you go. Flash ult actually will be enough to just take out Ryze straight out, and now it's just a matter of can you get away before Darius gets another kill. The ult actually will be enough, so trading still 1-for-1, but that's a lot of farm now suddenly going on to Very Nice. But as seen game 1, even though Darius had the early game up top lane, as started to hit the mid game and late game, it was just completely inconsequential. Even if Darian is reduced to nothing but an ult, it's a pretty damn good ult for the rest of the team to follow up on. And if you're gonna have to choose someone in Solid Supreme to get fed, to not really have to be able to do a lot in the late game, it's Darius. You kind of want to give him kills if you're gonna give him up, actually.
And you actually see M5 in that bottom lane. They know the tower's basically dead. I mean, they sneeze on it and it's gone. So they're not killing it because it can deny just as much gold from Vayne as you want, and pushing back the lane so that they can continue to deny the gold from Vayne. They just want to do that as long as possible until they decide to start pushing and start taking advantages. Jarvan coming down, but they're playing very safe. They are just really solid. It's really solid play all around from M5. But we do have a number of kills for Solid Supreme. Darius in particular. The issue is, like you said, and like we talked about, you know, Darius in these fights against the Malphite and with the attack speed slow, it's going to be difficult for him to take anyone down. But he is really aggressive right now. He could get in on Darien, get some nice damage. Actually just going to back off with that red buff. We'll see if he can pick up a couple more kills right now and try and snowball.
Yeah, so if he does actually snowball pretty hard, you know, if you feed him like maybe 2-3 more kills, whoa, actually he's actually still going in here onto the Malphite, trying to get a little bit extra damage as possible. What kind of item build do you think we might actually see from Darius now heading into mid game?
It's hard to say. I would think that you would go with like a tanky build, but we do have Shen in this mid lane, and actually with Ziggs, and then the taunt, the flash out from Shen, so he's going to be okay. I don't know. I think you're probably going to see like a Phage into a Frozen Mallet and then like a tanky build. You know, he recognizes the main damage for their team is going to be coming from Vayne and Ryze in this game. And so he wants to get an early advantage in order to get into that tanky status, but he needs to be tanky. And you see, even with that double buff, he was hardly able to do anything against Malphite. Malphite just throws off the movement speed, is fine, but he is taking some damage now. Try and chase him down. He does not have the Ignite, though, and so won't really have enough. But just slowly wearing him down. And actually, there's the bot turret finally going down. So, yeah, we'll see what M5 does. And actually, Shen and Jarvan duking it out up top a little bit.
And actually, Shen has a 2-level advantage up on Jarvan. Jarvan just flashed through the wall and wants to get the Cataclysm down onto the Malphite. The Shen ult will be there just to shield him just enough, but the Ziggs ult is there to help save the day. Jarvan will not be getting out of this one alive, but things will Malphite just, no, the standard will go ahead and take it, but the taunt will keep him still just long enough to pick up that kill. Ryze just could not get there in time. Yeah,
and Malphite, you saw, even at half health, Malphite was almost unkillable. And so now, actually, Lulu coming up top. I'm not sure if M5 knows if they saw her. You know, we don't really have any ward coverage up there. But Vayne is alone down bottom. So it does give Genja and Ghostpepper an opportunity to continue to zone Vayne, not allow her to farm. And it's going to be a serious concern. If they can't take down Malphite, yeah, they can ignore Malphite, but Malphite with the attack speed slow that he can just constantly spam is just going to be dealing so much disruption in these fights. And it's going to shut down both Vayne and Darius, and without Vayne and Darius's damage, it's going to be tough. But Ryze is very strong late game. He will have a lot of damage. The issue, though, is Ryze is actually going into a late Rod of Ages, and so because Ziggs had the early advantage over Ryze, Ryze is behind on his build as well. So everyone is behind on their builds for Salad Supreme, and not getting that early Glacial Shroud or Frozen Heart for Ryze, not getting any early magic resist, is really going to slow him down and make him struggle in fights.
Ryze is about 2,000 gold down, to be precise. You know, that's a needlessly large rod and a tome, pretty much, and that's quite a bit of AP. Or just pure, you know, damage that you're missing out on. You know, Ryze, you know, AP builds are now, you know, possible on him because of his recent tweaks, but still though, that's a lot of mana. It's a lot less tanky that your Ryze is, and that's, you know, one of the big benefits of Ryze. And if you're not a tanky Ryze, you're not a good Ryze.
Yeah, and you're so short range on Ryze. He's a short range caster, so a short range caster that's not tanky, you know, that's going to be a struggle. He does have some nice health right now, but not getting into that fast tanky build. He does pick up the blue. M5 is ready for this fight, and they have the initiation. They should have, you know, enough damage to take him down, but we'll see how it works. They can zone them a little bit with Ziggs.
Salad Supreme kind of wants this. They're questioning whether they should engage, but Ziggs with all of the poke, but Malphite does ult in return. Everyone from Salad Supreme is a little bit split. They kind of, you know, don't really have any huge focus here. Jarvan's trying to focus down the Ashe and does, but Malphite and Lulu, they're just going at it on their own. Ghostpepper is being focused down a little bit out, but there is the heal coming in from the Vayne and the Jarvan trying to focus down the Ziggs. Will Alex be able to get away from this? I'm not so sure. There we go. Just trying to chunk out a little bit more damage, but the Shen ult going down onto Soraka. Will he be able to possibly focus down the Darien? The Vorpal Blade will actually pick it up, and now Jarvan is in a full retreat. He's the last man standing, and M5 is out, still looking pretty damn healthy. Diamond Prox is nearly at full health still. Can he get the taunt, something, anything? Will you be able to finish up the taunt?
Just
barely misses. Barely misses, but we got to go back to that fight just for a quick second, just because that was a weird
actually
split.
Stole the dragon, and I'm pretty sure he did. It's kind of iffy, but I'm pretty sure Jarvan stole the dragon. And the big thing is the fight split. So if we get all of the AoE and all the tanks right in the middle of Salad Supreme's team, that's when M5 is going to win. But Salad Supreme actually doing a really nice job bursting down Ashe almost instantly. So they burst down Ashe, and then, you know, we're able to take that dragon. So, you know, I believe that Salad Supreme got it. I'm not 100%, but I'm fairly certain that they got it.
It was a pretty long, pretty extended team fight. I don't want to put us too far off, but yeah, but Still, though, M5 is in just such a huge position right now, even if they did get the Dragon stolen on them. Yep. Look at the gold lead they still have.
But if they can split the fights like that, if Salad Supreme can split the fights, Vayne, you know, despite the gold disadvantage she's at, will be really strong in 1v1s. And Darius, he's really strong in 1v1s too. Rise is really strong in 1v1s. So we have all these champions that will be good in those disorganized situations. The issue is when M5 can prepare the fight, when they can get all of you know, Salad Supreme to just clump up and sit in their AoE and all of their disables.
So right here, and this scene, even then, Soraka, you still got the heal. Darien, you got the ult, just keeping everybody still. And Diamond Prox is just doing so much work in these fights. Even then, you saw that last fight trying to, you know, ulting in to help out the rest of the team. He was out of position. He came back in to re-engage at nearly full health. He can just remain that healthy and deal, you know, as much damage as necessary and set up everything for the rest of his team. Even though Alex went down, he's still pumping out huge amounts of damage, but Darien is getting caught out here top lane. Does have to use the ult to get away, but Jarvan will keep him still for just a little bit while longer. His flash is down, made into a cupcake. Still has to try and run away from him. So here's Diamond Prox with the taunt to try and help save the day. Can you be a hero? Yes, you can, to keep everyone out. And now here's Ziggs to pile on the damage, keeping everyone out of there.
Yeah, Darien is just so unbelievably tanky right now, and in the meantime, Ashe is going to be taking down that mid turret, and it is going to go down. They will have to back off now.
They're
actually turning over to Vayne, and so they know, all right, the rest of the team is top. We need to get out of here. They're going to pile on us. But still, you saw how long it took them to take down Malphite, and Malphite's unkillable. Shen's going to be unkillable. With the Soraka and Shen ult, it's going to be tough for them to burst down Ashe and Soraka as well. So we'll see, you know, how that can work out, but you know, if you can't pick up the quick kills, the last fight they were able to get a couple of quick kills, and so that kind of, you know, made the fight a little bit easier on them. But if you can't pick up the quick kills, very quickly, Salad Supreme's team kind of falls apart. So we'll have to see. M5 perfectly fine with just farming. You know, we'll see if they start to pressure any objectives or not. They do have nice pushing potential with Ashe. But I don't know. For the most part, they're just kind of sitting back. Actually, the arrow going off, trying to hit Vayne, I think.
Yeah,
but,
I have no idea, really. Yeah, and Vayne was just, you know, so far out of that. But, you know, hey, it's such a short cooldown. You might as well go ahead. Toya getting a little bit caught out in the mid, has to flash away from the taunt. And Lou just trying to get a quick glitter lance, not going to get anything off of that. So it's, yeah, now it's the slow push. Now M5, they know the advantage they're in. They're nearly 10k in gold ahead. And they can just go ahead and split push. They can just go ahead and, you know, just walk over any objectives. And they know, even if they do die...
But they're surrounding them bottom. Salad Supreme is going to get a 4v2 down here. We will have the Shen ult, so it'll be a 4v3. And Ziggs, at the very least, will be able to throw off his ultimate. But here we come. Lulu is going to be able to get the slow onto Genja and onto Gosu Pepper. We have Jarvan as well. And actually, the Shen ult onto Ashe. He's trying to position himself and keep out of the damage. But very quickly, he's in the middle of all of them. Will go down. Shen has to get out of there. Gosu Pepper with the flash out of there. But if we see the Rise snare any second now, they should be able to get it. There's the pop-up from Jarvan. And so Gosu Pepper going down as well.
Gosu Pepper will not be able to get out of there, and right now Diamond Prox might just want to go ahead and back off, but the rest of the team may just want to go ahead and start shoving these other two lanes. Malphite was top earlier, Ziggs was mid earlier. I'm surprised he didn't go ahead and just aggressively push either top or mid, but still though, Shen a little bit, you know, just happened to miss the taunt. He ults in onto the Ashe, he taunts, tries to get someone, it's just more of like, oh man, Jarvan ult, later, I'm out. You guys can go ahead and deal with this yourself.
Yeah, and so we'll see. We do have this Oracles onto Jarvan, so he can kind of pursue some things. Malphite, you know, sitting mid, they just don't have the damage taken down. The magic damage will help. I mean, the Rise is really the only one who can touch Malphite at this point in the game. But if Rise is focusing on Malphite, then I don't know, it really is going to be difficult. They won't get their damage elsewhere. Yeah. You know, Soraka can just throw off the heal and the armor buff onto Ashe, and then the rest of the team will have difficulty taking her down. The one nice thing is that, you know, Darius versus Soraka, even though it reduces some of his damage, his ult is true damage, and so because Ashe is just not going to be tanky, the true damage will do a lot to her. You know, so that'll be nice. But even so, the fights are going to be extremely difficult for Salad Supreme, and even more so with an 8k gold advantage for M5.
Yeah, and even then, a lot of that advantage is actually also going towards, you know, it's pretty much split between everyone. Everyone's got a nice little share of it. You know, one of the biggest shares actually going to the mid, going to the Ziggs. Yeah, they're 3k up.
They're all just, you know, an item ahead. So Ashe, a full item ahead, has the Phantom Dancer compared with the, just the IE for Vayne. But having that IE, it is nice. But again, it was a late IE, so Vayne is always behind in these fights in damage.
Yep, Zig's going to get grab a Void Staff. I mean, it's not not the most opportune time to get percentage-based Magic Pen, but still, it's more damage. It's going to be AP stacking onto the passive, stacking onto all the abilities. You might as well. Malphite, you got the Frozen Heart, you got the Sunfire Cape for even more armor and for the health. It's getting pretty crazy. And Diamond Proc's going to go. You got the Phage, probably going to go ahead and build that into a Frozen Mallet just to keep stacking the health. Stack onto all of his abilities as well. But still, though, there is the initiation. The initiation from M5 is so huge, and Jarvan could actually lock out a few Strain members of M5 out there, as seen with the push earlier. But still, there's a lot to try and do, and Jarvan throws down the ult to try and isolate a few members of M5, but he's a little bit too far away from the rest of the team, and immediately they just start to melt. Salad Supreme cannot really engage us. Darius and Jarvan were a little bit too far away from the rest of the team, and there is the Wild Growth going down onto Vayne just to try and save her. But still, though, there's no damage. There's not enough damage from Salad Supreme to go and try and kill anyone off this push. Alexich does go down, but still, you got the Shen, you got the Malphite, you got the Ashe. There's not a whole lot to be done. And
Genja actually started the fight. He was split from the team. He wasn't part of it, so it started off as a 4v5, but it actually worked out into their favor because the previous fight, part of the reason that Salad Supreme was so successful was the fact that they had the quick burst. They were able to instantly kill kill Ashe in that fight, but sitting back a little bit, coming in late. Unfortunately, Alexich, he wasn't in the Jarvan ultimate, but he was pinched by it, so he did go down to the passive from Darius along with that Ignite. And but I mean, he almost lived. It was almost a completely one fight for M5. And if that tower wasn't there, then they would have been able to chase Salad Supreme down a little bit. So we'll see if they kind of force any objectives or if they push down a lane. They could probably just have Ashe push a lane, but the issue is how fast Jarvan and Darius can engage. And the fact that Ashe doesn't have a hard engage or a hard disengage except for her flash. So if you're sitting there trying to poke down a tower, they have Jarvan just ult right on top of Ashe. That could be a lost fight for M5. So they know, all right, let's just sit back for a second. Zig's going to try and steal it again. He cannot get it. He does get it.
The second time he's done it so far.
There's no excuse for that.
That amuses
me.
Like,
if you go back and look at that real quick, they were actually, it was at half HP when they saw the outline. So there's where they see the outline. I guess it's so much damage. The Ziggs ult does so much damage. I think they could have stopped attacking it, but I guess they just didn't realize too late, and it's just so much damage. So being able to steal that again, hey, it's always a bonus. That's nice.
As a fact, and that's one of the great things about Ziggs' ult too, is that if you know someone's engaging on an objective like Dragon or Baron or a buff, you give them a hard choice. It's like, okay, we need to stop attacking this. We don't know exactly how much damage it does, and even though we have to stand nearby, if we still want to take this objective, we're going to be taking the damage too. And that's why Ziggs Bomb is just also a great initiation tool for something like Baron. Everyone's in that pit. It's nearly guaranteed to hit everybody, and that's also why I see a lot of top 5 videos out there. Just so many Ziggs Baron steals. We've done it ourselves too.
Yeah, I can't believe that Alexich has stolen 2 blues this game, but Shen, very strong. He's just kind of sitting in that top lane. M5 putting on pressure in all the lanes, and so Jarvan has to be bot. We actually have the Ashe arrow. It does hit Darius.
Onto Darius.
Not the ideal target. If they had hit Ryze, then you can be damned well sure they would have gone in on it, pick up the quick kill, and then that would have been it. Like without the Ryze damage, Salad Supreme just has no chance in these fights. So if they can pick up a kill into Ryze, Ryze is actually zoned out. So this is a free tower basically because of how low Ryze is from the harass and from that poke from Ziggs.
And even then, Ryze right now, still at this point in the game, just cannot do all too much damage. Buys a Giant's Belt. I think he's just trying to go for a Rylai's just to try and be a little bit more of a utility-based member of their team. But still, though, it's a little bit too late for that, though. M5, their poke is just way too superior. Ziggs could just go ahead and throw bombs all willy-nilly. Free damage. It's all free damage here if he manages to land one of those. And then Shen, once again, getting the split push on down bot, can rejoin the team at any time. With the blue buff, Alex just go ahead and keep spamming.
Yeah, they want to just keep all the lanes pushed. They want to just sit here and constantly poke them down into the tower. And so because they're low, in another wave or two, they're going to have to go back, and then they won't be able to defend. But actually, nice the quick pull over the wall. Alex Ich going down almost instantly. He does get the ult off, and now Ash chasing him down, picks up 1 kill. We have the Shen and the Malphite. There's another kill, and so Genja just going to work here along with Malphite, with Darian. They will be chasing him down. Devo really close. Vayne is going to go down. One more attack. There's the Ash arrow finally off for the cooldown, and M5 has won this fight, even though it started off with the worst they could imagine, Alex Ich being pulled over the wall.
They still got it.
They still got it.
It's just a little too much action for Shen to ult properly, but he still got in there, and he'll still be able to taunt and control the fight as much as possible. And there's still plenty of damage on the rest of the team. You still have the Ashe, you still have the Malphite, and Soraka to top everybody off.
The issue is, even though they got the pull and insta-killed Ziggs, they were low. Ryze was at 30% HP. Ryze was at maybe half health.
Yeah.
But even so, he was low. So even though they had the quick kill, the 4v5, the fact that Ryze couldn't stand up to him did quickly go down after that. That was it. And, Ryze needs to get some armor. He really needs Glacial Shroud. But, as long as he's comfortable with his tanks, I guess he's fine with just going all for it. He just wants to get some damage, and he's like, all right, I need to get damage. We need to just have enough damage output to take these guys. And because of the attack speed slow from Malphite, he knows that it's all on him. He knows if he's not dealing damage, his physical carries won't be. So Ryze going with the full damage build, and unfortunately, it spells his demise.
It is. It's not doing too great for him. And even then, though, it's still a little bit awkward of a build too, especially for someone like Ryze, who scales off of mana, and it's one of the biggest things about him. And he was just denied so early. He wasn't given the opportunity to build tanky.
Shen is up top though, and they could get a nice engage. Shen is generally pretty safe. They will see him here. We will have the disables to stop his ultimate, so he does throw the taunt, and then the quick flash over the wall. He doesn't even care. Diamond Prox is out of there, but actually he does have Jarvan chasing a little bit. It doesn't even matter. And so, mid is pushing. Malphite's just going to go straight for this Nexus turret. He can get some damage. He's going to need to back off, though. They're, splitting them all over the place. M5 is just running around, and I think Salad Supreme is pretty confused with what to do. They do have him now. We will get that Ryze. With the speed up, he will get the snare, and with that Ryze damage, it will be pretty nice. Darian will go down, unfortunately. And M5 not really accomplishing anything from Darian going down. They might have been able to pressure themselves at Dragon, or at Baron. They could have maybe tried to press it and then have Malphite run around, but nothing really accomplished there.
Yeah, but still, they're still so far ahead in the lead. Even if Salad Supreme were to just right now try and pressure the Baron, they'd still more than likely lose that engagement. Darius is a little bit low. Ryze is a little bit low.
Darius almost getting that pull on Soraka.
Yeah, if he got that, there's still Shen ult available, but I think that might be a little bit too much burst to deal with. But Alex is here. Very nice. Could actually once again get the pull over the wall, but still just go ahead. Not going to go ahead and pressure it because Shen is still also nearby.
Oh, man. All of that poke damage right onto Ryze, and he is just taking it all to the face. This is going to be a tower, but the Mega Inferno Bomb, we have the quick engage onto Alex Ich, but he throws off the Zhonya's, and there's the Ash Arrow. We have the team initiation here. Malphite isn't with them. It is a 4v5, but they are all low, and they can't even kill Ziggs. That is how little damage they have without Ryze being in the front line because he's so low. They are chasing him down. We have the Lulu ult. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough.
Trying to be a hero, putting the wall growth on herself to just slow down M5, but there's not a whole
4v5, they are unkillable because of all that poke that Alex Ich can do, slowly wearing them down.
Ziggs, he's just serving same purpose as Kog'Maw was doing game 1, and still a fantastic, amazing pick in the mid if you manage to get him. But right now, though, there's still 3 members of Salad Supreme down. They can just go ahead and poke out the towers. Might even just straight up grab kills off this as well.
They have enough. This is game. They're going to be able to push down the Nexus. There's nothing that Salad Supreme can do about it. So a quick 2-0 for Moscow 5. Just absolutely crushing Salad Supreme in this game number 2. Game number 1 was definitely really close, and Salad Supreme, they knew that they had some nice late game presence, but just didn't have enough damage, couldn't get themselves into the game.
So this is pretty much it. This is the last stand here from Salad Supreme. Shen trying to be focused down by the Jarvan. Malphite does have to get away. He might actually go down to this. His ult is not up, and Vayne will actually be able to still pick up the kill, but there's still the poke damage from Ziggs. to deal. And the Nexus turrets are down. Those could use there's the Inferno Bomb just to clear out some of the creeps to continue the push.
Yeah, it's actually it's nice timing to just throw it off as the creeps are spawning. You get all the creep waves from mid and bot, and it allows bot to go down.
Yeah.
It makes it that much more difficult for them to defend.
And yeah, so now they're just. This game is for the most part over. Sal Supreme does need a miracle if they really want to come back from this one. Mid inhibitor's down, all the Nexus turrets are down. They can just kill time until the inhibitor goes back and possibly steal a Baron, but still, though, they're so far behind. 20k in gold. So much farm. Ziggs just is so much. I gotta check out how much damage Ziggs actually does. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and so we'll see if they kind of set up bot or if they just go straight for the mid. They can really just run up and kill the Nexus, and there's not a whole lot that South Supreme can do about it. Or maybe they're going to toy with their food a little bit longer. Darian was running around earlier. We actually do see, though, Ziggs with the nice little bounce. He wants to get out of there, but there's the Zonias, and they are engaging on him. And unfortunately, they are all split, so Alex Inch is going to go down, and this is what Salad Supreme wants. We have the Condemn into the wall, so Gosu Pepper going down as well. 2 kills really quickly for Salad Supreme.
Wow.
And, yeah, they could maybe turn this around if they can hold off long enough to get into late game. And if M5 keeps on making these throws, we have Malphite walking into him, but Malphite is so tanky at this point, it's taking them a while to kill him, but he should go down. Jarvan, unfortunately, going down to the Malphite ultimate. Same thing with Lulu, but there's the Lulu ultimate, so she is going to be safe. And now it is just Shen, but Ashe coming in, and Ashe is going to be able to pick up a triple kill here, almost certainly. There's the first kill. Here's the second one onto Lulu. Shen, just hold him still for me for a second. No, Shen's able to get it. But even so, they can push mid, and with just Darius to defend, they will be able to end this.
Let's go ahead. They might just actually.
Oh, never mind. The inhibitor's up.
The inhibitor is up, but could just 2-man Baron. They might just go ahead and try it. They might as well. They're here. Got the GA onto Ashe. If someone needs to die, she can just go ahead and jump right into the pit. And
Malphite's like, I haven't finished my item build yet, guys.
No, guys, we still need a little
Ashe
bit more
hasn't
gold.
either. Ashe needs to get the second Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, have to. You absolutely have. Just get the second one. Maybe even sell the boots. Get a third one. Why not? But he's nearby. Wants to try and do something to pull. Not going to get it, and there you go.
Yeah, really nice dodge from Ashe for a second to avoid that pull, but now coming right into very nice. She will go down pretty quickly, but she has the GA. There's the taunt, and Darius is going to go down. One more attack. There it goes. So the GA will have the respawn. It's actually interesting. The passive is still up after the GA, so taking a little bit more damage there, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Now M5, they got the Baron buff. They can just go ahead and push to win at this point. It's just a little bit of a chore to have to go right back into the mid, take out the inhibitor, but after that, just should be quick push to the win, pretty easy peasy from there on in. But so now I actually got to go back and got to talk about, really what happened, for most parts of that game, and a lot of it is what happened mid. Just Rise could just not make anything happen.
Vayne as well. Vayne, oh, there's actually the initiation onto Lulu. So Genja, he wants those kills very quickly, bursting her down with how much damage he has. Malphite is here as well. Gets the movement speed off of the creep, actually, because he wants to get this engaged. There's the ultimate, knocking up Rise, and we have the Mega Inferno Bomb chasing down the Jarvan with the Ashe auto attacks. She's just so strong right now. Vayne turning into her, but Jarvan getting out of there, so Vayne is very close to going down and will go down. Actually, no, there's the heal. The Condemn getting herself away, but there it is. There's the kill. The big thing is they had advantages in a number of the lanes. Genja actually maybe going to go down here. Yes, will go down. No, the Soraka heal's too strong. They can't even kill Genja at this point. But with the Jarvan there and actually the burst from Rise, they do pick up the kill. The big thing is that M5, they had superior lanes. And, bot lane, the Ashe versus the Vayne, Genja and Gosu Pepper just playing the lane perfectly. They had the regen advantage. They had the range advantage for the harass. So they were very safe there. Ziggs crushing the mid lane and farm all over the board. Darius, he did well early, but in the team fights, with all of the armor and advantages that M5 have, he just can't really get anything done. So M5 able to pick it up.
Malphite getting a little bit crazier. Darian just going straight into the base, but there it is. There is the Nexus, and that is game. M5 will be moving on to play Absolute Legends EU in the next round. Good job, guys. Good job. And that was just sheer dominant play across the board.
Yeah,
that was just it. Every lane was just done.
Yeah, no, it was I think M5 knew it was over pretty early. They, were able to get a significant farm advantage. It was a pretty close game for a long time.
Yeah.
But because M5 had such great fight control and had the huge early advantage for farm, I mean, all of the lanes, every single lane was ahead in farm. Even Malphite top versus Darius. Darius caught back up, but Malphite early on was like 30 CS ahead. Bottom, Ashe was 60 CS ahead at one point. Mid, Ziggs was, 50, 60 CS ahead. So every single lane, they had a farm advantage.
Now, even at, I want to actually go back to this. So, still, the same top lane matchup, game 1 and game 2. Game 1, Malphite started stacking those Doran's rings, had a little bit extra health, had the mana regen, had the AP. Game 2 immediately buys the chain vest and the cloth armor. Which, in that situation, which build do you prefer?
Definitely getting the fast armor is a better build. And the big thing is game 1, he was a little bit behind. Doran's is very common on Malphite early, but you need the armor to stand toe-to-toe with Darius. And I'm actually kind of changing my opinion of the lane a little bit. Malphite shuts down Darius as the game progresses, but in lane, he just doesn't have enough harass to shut him down. But he does have enough burst damage, and we saw that in this game. Malphite, it's almost impossible for Darius to take him down in lane. We did see him take him down a couple of times with the passive, with the Ignite, and with the True Damage ultimate. However, generally speaking, Malphite can be very safe in the lane as long as he's played safely. So you saw Malphite able to farm evenly with Darius. Then he has the kill potential with his ultimate, and then in team fights, he can shut them down. Since they're attack speed champions, shut them down with your slow, shut them down with the armor. And so, getting the early cloth armor and whatnot, it shuts down a lot of that Darius damage. And that's what you need to do. You need to not allow him to just, bully you to the face. And so it's just not allowing Darius to get an early advantage. Darius needs an early advantage to snowball. And, he got a couple of kills, but, it isn't enough because of his team fight pressure. He's okay in team fights, but he's not, the strongest all-around champion, particularly when you have a hard counter like armor.
Yeah. Armor's pretty good sometimes. Just don't be building that Thorn Mail really anytime soon. But hey, I think that's pretty much it. Nice dominant play from M5. Good to see them back here on stream.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for stopping by today. It's great having you here. And as always, remember, be sure to check up on everything we're doing here at IGN Pro League on Twitter and on Facebook. YouTube.com/IPLLOL. Got top 5 flops up there now. A little replay, a little update is there as well with some TSM footage. And as always, send us your tops, send us your flops. We want your replays, IPLLOLreplays@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we will throw up a rebroadcast for this game, so you guys can check it out again if you didn't see it the first time, or if you just want to watch it again. M5 looked really cool. It's always a pleasure watching.
It's always good to watch M5 over again. It's just, why not?
So we're going to have the rebroadcast up for that. We're going to have, after that, we'll just, air some of our other matches if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, this week has been amazing, by the way.
Tonight, we're not actually going to have an NA, I don't believe.
I don't believe we're going to have an NA match tonight.
Yeah,
but
we're all going to be busy watching MLG, so... no NA for this evening.
But do stop by
next week, though.
But do stop by next week. I'm pretty sure we'll have to go ahead and check the scheduling on this. Tuesday, relatively soon, we're going to have M5 versus Absolute Legends EU.
Oh, that's going to be insane.
The NA match, a little bit undecided because there's still a lot more matches to be done on the NA bracket than there is on the EU bracket. But we'll figure it out. And as always, check up with us on Twitter. We'll let you know. But for now, though, I think we're pretty much done here.
Thank you guys. We're good.
Thank you guys for stopping by. And hey, it's always a pleasure to have you here. We will see you next time. Good night.